camera is running now.
All right. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Arlene Corwin. I am a poet. I've written 19 books of poetry, but I'm also a jazz musician. Been one all my life. I'm going to start with, well, first I'm going to show you my latest book. That would be a nice thing. It's called The Swedish Book. It's written in English, but I live in Sweden, so it's called The Swedish Book. I always put a poem on the covers of my books. And this one has a little poem called A Little Poem. The light, the Swedish light, it's on till 12 tonight. June 16, 2001, I must congratulate the sun. We're high up in the Arctic, you know, we get a very long summer's day. All right, now I'm not going to read anything from my 19 books. I'm going to read my latest because they always feel like the best. And since I write every day and never really know what to choose from, I'll give you my latest. This one's called The Personal Joys of Aging. I enjoy not being steered by Ardor's horny drive, the appetite for lots of food and varied such. I enjoy not wanting much of much, which qualities all counteract, exacerbate the facts of fate. It's late, I cannot sleep, but revel in the hours I keep. Awake at night, it is a most creative time to write. In younger days, there was so much I'd have denied, tried to get out of, lied about, taboos and mores, certifying, classifying wrong and right. Sleep, food, sex, vacate the drives, each space replaced by something fitter. Without daily nosedives, life is definitely better. Tell me, dear reader, with what you're free from. I would love to hear from any reader sitting there. Okay, next. Because I'm a musician, have been for 100 years, I wrote this poem. First of all, I believe that all poetry is autobiographical. No matter what you're writing about, it's always projecting your points of view. This one's called Pearls Before Swine. We're all experienced. A listener who is not concerned with what you do, haven't you? I've sung my song for folk who've sat and folk who sit, apparently attentive to it. Between the sets, we've chatted about this and that. It shows that they've not heard a word or listened to a single note. They've learned to act mechanically, by rote, knowing exactly how to chew the fat. And I sense that the song of mine is throwing lots of pearls to swine. Do I feel vexed, embittered, angry? I know it is a vanity to bank on ears awake to me and only me. Folk may disagree, having differing capacity to listen with a heart unstained, single-mindedness untainted. But leaving ego self at home, expectations on their own, I sing for me and me alone, and cling to song and growth and fun, the only worth, the only aim that's worth the run. There'll always be pearl-eating swine, not interested in ditty mine. That's utterly and fully fine. You know, I remember a certain conductor actually left conducting because he knew everyone in the audience was well dressed and there really for themselves and not to hear his orchestra. So we musicians, we all understand the feeling. Okay, let me see. I was thinking about advantages. This one's called downside, upside. There is no benefit that doesn't have its drawback. Not one plus without its minus. Flaw and blemish built tightly in, no disadvantage sans advantage. Rooted deep, the origin. Brain, pervading all I do, I try to purify my brain and turn invasion into harmony, camaraderie. Down to upside, now an ally fixing me to purify and admixed me. All right, that was downside, upside. I can't be very, I don't know what, pedagogic, didactic. This one's called the case for uppercase because I start each line of my poetry with a capital letter. And some of the modern generation, you know, well, they disagree with that principle, but I defend it. The case for uppercase. I am traditional. Each line I write starts with a capital. I've gotten slurs, have had to plead my case, give reasons for, well, can't say more. It looks right, feels right, lights my fire. Capitals inspire. Uppercase, to start a line, seems to define a poem, as does rhyme and meter. And it seems to me, a writer, reader, that the message is delivered stronger, more aesthetically and stylishly than when composed and written out in form that's free. Free of commas, brackets, sentences, spellings, colons, and the semi. All the marks that clarify, unifying all and any. Uppercase in verse is not a race or a contest to see who is best. Uppercase is, in this case, a quest for knowledge. Autobiographic collage, search and synthesizing to two eyes that just may realize a self and what's behind, the mind and whosoever else I find. Or should I say, whoever else. But never mind, I face the uppercase descent with a quiet acquiescence and perpetuate to celebrate tradition. That's my very calm, poetic fighting back. Poetry is such a wonderful means, I must say. Now, in August 3rd, I collapsed. I was in a coma for over a month, in the hospital for over 3 months. When I awoke, I had had 4 fingers amputated on one hand and 3.5 on the other. When I finally awoke, my intellect was still sharp. When I came home, I started to write. And this is one of the things I wrote. Now and then, how I miss. I practice living in the now. But now and then I miss the old Arlene, who had 10 fingers, who could play arpeggios with ease. Arpeggios, capriccios, effortlessly, trouble-free. Unnostalgic, I chanced to see an old YouTube of Arlene me, singing, playing all God's chillin', speedily, gleeful, musical, and jazzy. I wound up teary-eyed, with just 3 left to play with, thumb and index on the left, a lonely thumb the right. Filled with weakness, I can play a swinging bass, with monk-like dissonance between, and right thumb not at all a small dumb finger. The trick will be to sow creativeness anew, augment, stretch, grow, and not go into any other place than now. If now at all can be returned to and referred to as a place, I rather think of it as space. In any case, I was a little sad today. The old Arlene who cannot play the way she used to, caused by nature's vagary. Dear reader, please forget the sentiment reminiscent